Hey guys, Cole here. Welcome back to the Raid Champ Guides and Infographic channel. Today we're looking at GHOSTBORN. I know. This is a very unique champion for me and a unique champion overall in the game. He's unique for me because he was my first ever legendary acquired on my account and my second legendary acquired on my account. So talk about a coincidence. And over time, I managed to get more copies and have him at a +4. But that does not matter for today's showcase, since I'll be explaining on how to use him at an endgame content scenario, which I'll show you guys right now. But also explain on how he can be used at, the lower parts of the game. If you're just starting out, you happen to get one GHOSTBORN, how can you use him? Well, there's many uses, but everything revolves around his A3 skill. We'll come back to the gearing in a little bit, but this A3 skill attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense. That is not unique at all, but the next part is, this debuff cannot be resisted. It means exactly that. You don't need any accuracy to apply that. He does not care about accuracy, and this does not care about that 3% chance that always exists when you're hitting a target. There is always a 3% chance, a very small chance, that no matter how much accuracy you have, you will see resisted on the top. 3% chance. Out of 100 fights, 3 of those fights will happen to be ones where you got resisted no matter your accuracy. But if a skill says this debuff cannot be resisted, well, it will never happen. You will never see that resist happening. So over 100 fights, those 100 fights will have, the debuff landing, which makes GHOSTBORN so good for endgame accounts. That, though, does not count the fact that GHOSTBORN can do a weak hit against magic targets. So if you're fighting a target that is a magic, so let's say Kale, you're trying to hit Kale with your decreased defense, your A3 skill, your spirit against the magic target, you are bound to get a weak hit 35% of the time, which is exactly that. And when you do a weak hit, you will not apply any debuff. So have that in mind, as GHOSTBORN can have that issue on magic heavy dungeon. So if a dungeon has a magic boss, so you're fighting, let's say stage 20 of the dragon, which is magic, you're bound to get weak hits coming in from GHOSTBORN. But later on, when it's not magic, you won't have that issue, and GHOSTBORN will be amazing. Newer accounts will also benefit from the increased attack buff. That helps a ton with giving you that extra bit of a boost into your damage, and he can be huge for arenas at the beginning parts of the game. But later on within the game, you won't see so much action out of GHOSTBORN, but he'll serve that role, that very strong role, for a long time. Unfortunately, he does need books to be useful. Not that many books, but he needs at least 3 books if you're lucky to get this fully booked out, to reduce the chance of him not applying it. So when you have it fully booked out, you have 100% chance to apply the debuff, and also a lower cooldown if that is something that you care. Just 2 books will give you that 100% chance, but again, it's totally RNG. He has 3 books requirement. He's A2, which is just an AoE attack that can also apply heal reduction, but this requires accuracy. And then his A1 attacks one enemy with 100% chance to apply a decreased defense debuff if it's fully booked out. These books are kind of recommended for end game scenarios when you are consistently trying to farm something. You want to have all of these books in, especially on his A3 and the A1. And some specific times you'll need to be, confident that you'll be landing that decreased defense. So let's say for my Fire Knight team, I want to know that I'll be landing that. In terms of blessings, I would say Cruelty is a very solid one, since he'll be attacking all the targets and basically reducing their defense consistently by another 1%, or depending on what kind of level you're fighting, this decrease of defense will go up and up. The Cruelty blessing is very strong for GHOSTBORN. I would say other blessings, since he's a legendary like Brimstone, this is also very good. And for arenas, the Intimidating Presence or even the Temporal Chains are also good, but it all depends on whether you get the blessing or not. It's a very low chance. In terms of masteries, I would highly recommend going in for War Master to help you with more consistent source of damage, but you don't need to have any kind of masteries to make GHOSTBORN work. You have him there as a debuffer to apply the debuffs and not really care about anything else. He can be used as also, a buffer because of his increased attack skill, which that's why I have Lasting Gifts on him, which has the small chance to extend the buffs on your allies. Lore of Steel, that small chance from Cycle of Magic to reset your cooldowns, and Master Hexer for longer duration debuffs. That is basically it. It's a basic kind of debuff mastery page that GHOSTBORN is following. And in terms of artifacts, you cannot go wrong with many of the artifacts available. If you're just looking for stats, go for speed. You don't need the accuracy if it's just the A3 that you're looking to land. But if you want to be landing your hero reduction or your A1, then you will need some accuracy. And that's why I've been running him with at least 200 accuracy right here for dungeons, okay? Because I want to be landing that decreased defense. I'm running him with very high speed, but you don't need to do that so much speed as I have. It all depends on your other speed of your champions. Ideally, he should be going right after your speed booster champion. Let's say your Arbiter or your Apothecary, your High Katoon, anything that you have that is boosting speed. He should be following up next for the increased attack buff and decreased defense buff, debuff on the enemies. Overall stats, do you need, high attack, crit rate, and crit damage? Well, you don't need it, but it helps if, again, you're looking to clear dungeons or help with damage in the arena. And since I have him fully empowered, he gains an immense amount of power boost through crit rate and crit damage, accuracies. So this is much easier for me to do a big empowerment on him in order for him to benefit in getting these stats that I want. But you don't need all of this, especially when building GHOSTBORN. In terms of sets, you need the shield set if you're running, I would say, GHOSTBORN with a Seer for the dungeons, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. But if you're not running something like that, any kind of set that gives you the stats, the speed, and maybe some crit rate, some attack, some crit damage, then you can do that. Other sets, let's say like the lifesteal set, are more useful if you're looking to recover some health when you are attacking. Other sets like the stun set are also good since GHOSTBORN has 2 AoEs. So he has, 2 good chances to stun multiple targets throughout the fight. And that's going to be very helpful for the faction wars. So have that in mind. Provoke set does basically the same thing. Toxic set, if you're looking to apply some, poison debuffs, the not so stronger version of it. If you're lacking the poisoners when you're fighting. Overall, GHOSTBORN does not really care on the gear that he has. He's looking for those specific stats, but most of the time you'll see him in a shield set, especially in showcases, since he'll be going along a Seer for that fast clear time, where Seer depends on both his buffing and also his ability to not have any of his decreased defense be resisted through his A3. If you've got accessories like the Blood Shield, this is more end game than anything, and it helps Seer a lot. But if you're not, go for health, go for attack. It all depends on the overall stats that you're looking to build. But remember that you also need the accuracy if you want to be landing that heal reduction on his A2 and his decreased defense on his A1. That being said, that is pretty much it for GHOSTBORN. It's not a champion that requires much thought in terms of how to build him and if a set is better than others. So let me just show you on what he can do in an end game scenario, which is clearing Fire Knight 25 in a very fast time, which is how you build him. So the idea is that you're using Seer for the clear, and then all the other champions are there for turn meter control and of course damage. And GHOSTBORN, because of his unresistible decreased defense, he will just not care and apply that on every single one of the targets right here. Boom, look at that. Every one of the targets has a decreased defense. You're not going to get resisted at any point of the game. Look at that, decreased defense again. And the Seer clears. The shield set is there to give more buffs for Seer to eat up. And then you reach the boss, which you'll see that my plan here is to hit the boss with the A1 so that I can apply a decreased defense and help my damage dealers here. Look at that, decreased defense, do the maximum amount of damage that they can, which is the 269,000 plus the War Master procs there, makes this run much quicker. So I get the reset here, hit them again, boom, and a 41-second clear for Fire Knight 25. This is of course an end game kind of team, which you should be looking out to build eventually when you're using GHOSTBORN. So when you're fighting in arena, what you want to make sure is that your turn meter booster goes first. Then you'll have either a lockout champion or another turn meter booster to go right after, so that you have a speed tune team for arena, which Terminator booster or lockout, then your decreased defense, which is gonna be Ghostborn, who can work very well for this role, and then your damage dealer goes last. It's the same thing that you do in dungeons, right? You want to have your decreased defense applied before you do the damage, so that your damage is as much as possible. So let's go into this arena fight, so you'll see it in action on exactly on what we're trying to do. So here I'm going first. That's great. We're boosting up. My Yumiko is fast enough and speed tuned to go right after. So even though they had the Terminator at full, I'll be able to fully lock them out and stop them from doing their skills. And boom, we lock them out. They just do their A1s. Look at that. Then we apply the decreased defense there with Ghostborn, but he does have some damage. So I wonder how much damage he'll do. He did some, but of course did not kill everybody. My Arbiter is so fast that she goes again, and then we'll be able to kill off basically the full team except for Skullcrown, because she's got that pesky passive where she gets that unkillable there for one turn. But that's it. She's down, and this will be your arena team. So this was the showcase on Ghostborn, guys. Thanks a lot for watching our channel of raid champ guides and infographics. I'll have an infographic link for you guys down below in the description of the video. Thank you all for watching. If you want to see more guides and specific champions, leave your comment down below. Thank you all, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.